What is up guys, welcome to another video. That Geeky guy here. So in this deck tag video, I'll be talking about Chane. So this is a classic constructed deck build here. I'm going to go through and I'm just gonna justify the equipment choices and also the card choices here. So let's take a look at the loadout. So the loadout of choice for the weapon, we're going for Nebula Blade. Chane plays a bunch of non-attack actions, so this is really easy to pull off. The attack itself is going to be 4 once you have some non-attack action card. Then we are going with the Carrion Husk for our chest, simply because it blocks for 6, so it is a very efficient armor to use to block with. Ebon Fold is our choice for the headpiece. With an instant and the cost of 1, we get to destroy it, we get to banish a card from your hand. Usually we want to banish something with a Blood Depth, and then we can play the card out of the banish zone, of course. So if it's shadow card, you also get to draw a card. Then it does have the Spell Void, but that is out of the question here unless we are against other arcane damage opponent. So we have the Grasp of the Dark Knight, just an overall good Ruin Blade equipment. So it blocks for 2. If you would want to create Ruchan, that is also possible, but we are putting it in here just because it blocks for 2. And then Snapdragon Scalers would be our legs. So the go again is very important, and Chane has a bunch of attack action that has cost 1 or less. So basically those are the equipments, and of course we have some Nalrun boot, glove, and also the hood here. So now let's go ahead and look at the cards here. Bounding Demagon, so 3 copies of this, excellent card. You're gonna take a look at the non-attack action, then you might understand the purpose of playing 3 copies here. So if we played any non-attack action, and then we may play this out of the banish zone, so we would prefer this card to be in the banish zone. Once it's out of there, it's gonna then gain another 1 damage. So this is coming for 4, forcing your opponent to either block with 2 cards or with a defense reaction. E-Strike, just because of the go again, extremely good value for any decks that want to go wide. So Chane is one of those decks. Ghostly Visit, any cards that we can play out of the banish zone is a good choice. Howl from Beyond, once again, this buffs up our attacks. So once again, this is also a non-attack action, so we may play this and also gain the advantage of playing Bounding Demagon. So for only the cost of 2, we are doing about 7 damage here. So Meet and Greet, excellent card because of the go again. So if you deal any arcane damage, Meet and Greet auto gains go again. So this is 3 copies of this. Piercing Shadow wise, another card that we can play out of the banish zone. So the recurring theme here is we want as much as possible cards that we can play out of the banish zone to reduce our blood depth. And then we have 3 copies of Razor Reflex because of the bonus damage, and also it allows us to go again. So with Chane, you want to play as much cards from the banish zone and also the hand, so that we can deal maximum damage to our opponent, pressuring our opponent into throwing their hands. So we're gonna keep the momentum up with all these different cards here. So Riftbind, of course, another card that we can play out of banish zone. So it depends on the number of non-attack action we have played this turn. So I'm gonna show you guys a card that going very well hand in hand with this card here. Next we have Rip Through Reality. So once again, another card that we can play out of the banish zone. If it deals any arcane damage, it gains go again. So this is basically a meet and greet, but with the advantage of being able to play from the banish zone. But do keep in mind this costs 2, meet and greet on the other hand costs 1. So the best card of the Chane deck here is the Seeds of Agony. Gonna play all 9 copies of that just because it can place out of the banish zone. It costs 0, and also it deals it gives the buff to the attack action, allowing it to deal 1 arcane damage. So if let's say we play Seeds of Agony as much as possible from the banish zone, Riftbind gains plus the number of non-attack action we play. Also it gains 1 arcane damage, same as Rip Through Reality. And then if we have dealt arcane damage, then it gains go again. So that's excellent. Even Meet and Greet also benefits from the arcane damage. So 9 copies of Seeds of Agony. Blues allows us to pitch more efficiently. One thing that is good about Chane is basically you can play a bunch of cards out of the banish zone, but using the cards in your hand as pitching, of course. Next, we have 3 copies of Shadow Puppetry. You're playing a Shadow hero, so this is an excellent card to have. Any attack action card next turn gains, this turn gains +1, go again, and if it hits, look at the top card, you may banish it. So it allows more cards into our banish zone, so this is very good. So Ripping, of course, this is a chain specialization. We can only play 1 copy of this. So we can banish. Do not be afraid of the 6 cost here. We can just banish 1 card and then basically pay for the cost. So this is excellent. Unhallowed Rites, you'll see that we have about 6 copies here, 3 reds and also 3 blues. If we played any non-attack action, we can play this out of our banish zone. The reason I'm playing the blue one here because it allows us to put a non-attack action with Blood Depth from the graveyard to the bottom of the deck. Next, we have Void Wrath. So Void Wrath is one of those cards that allows us to do 5 damage with a cost of 2, and it is, once again, we can play this out of the banish zone. So, and Hallowed Rites is one of those cards going to benefit from the non-attack action. Once again, Seeds of Agony plays really well with all those cards. Next, we have the Eclipse. So Eclipse only works if we have 6 or more cards with Blood Depth this turn. So this is going to be our late game finisher. So this allows us to create the Soul Reaper token. So only 1 copy of this. Of course, this is a legendary card. Also, it's a blue, excellent card, a must-have in a chain deck. Next, we have Moraine Skies. So we're playing 6 copies of this, only the yellow and the blues. The hit effect doesn't really concern us here, even though if it hits, we get to create Runechant token. The important part here is the part that it gives go again. So Chane really needs those go again in order to maximize his damage. 3 copies of Blue Plunder Run, we can use this to pitch and also threaten our opponent by allowing our attack action card to gain draw. We have Invert Existence, so we can play this out of our banish zone. We can banish up to 2 cards in the opposing hero's graveyard, so we can deal up to 2 arcane damage. And then we have 3 copies of Art of War. Overall, a great card. We get to buff our attack action, we get to give it go again and things like that. So this is excellent. Gorganian Tomb, just to even if you don't play this card, it's fine. You can remove this from the deck. But Gorganian Tomb is another of one of those non-attack actions, so it allows us to once again buff our attack action that actually benefits from this, such as the Rift Bind. Next, we have 3 copies of Shadow of Ursa, so we can play this out of the banish zone. We can even banish an extra card with Blood Depth from hand. It even gains go again. It costs 0. It blocks for 3. I must have 3 copies of this. So finally, 3 copies of Vexing Malice. So you might be curious, we are playing the blue pitch here because the important part is not the damage, but the ability to actually deal 2 arcane damage to the target hero. So you can even actually create a soul token before playing this, so this gains go again, deal 2 arcane damage, and it enables Meet and Greet, Rip Through Reality, so a bunch of stuff actually gets enabled by dealing 2 arcane damage to the opposing hero. So usually against Chane, your opponent might only play 1 equipment of Nalrune, so blocking 2 arcane damage is out of the question. So this enables us to actually deal a bunch of damage using our attack action. So guys, that's it for the chain deck. I'm gonna leave the link down in the description below. A few cards you might wanna look into it is the Snatch. So Snatch is another card you guys can take a look in. I'm gonna go into the edit here so we can take a look at Snatch. So Snatch is a great card because it allows us to draw a card. We can use Snapdragon Scalers to give our Snatch go again. We want to try play 3 copies of those. So guys, that's it for the deck itself. So let me know what you guys think down in comments below. Like, subscribe, and any of those good stuff that really helps me out. And see you guys in the next one. Bye.